Episode 136, the Terrance Henry Experience. I got a special guest in the building. He's definitely a person in the community, hands on. He's been around. He's been doing the work. He's been diving in. Saleem Hassan, um, known as Soldier for Recovery. He's here. How you doing, good brother?
Great.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling a little tired, long night, but
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy you here.
Happy to be here.
I've been watching your stuff for a long time on the gram.
Okay.
You know, some of the stuff that you've been doing as far as though where you go deep in Kensington.
Yes.
And you always show people what it is that's going on. And you show them from a light. You show them from a light where as though it's that, this is where you don't want to be. But not only is not where you don't want to be, it's where as though you're trying to help people to recover, right? And your story is so amazing because you come from nine, you have 6 sisters?
I got 32 brothers and sisters.
You got 32?
32, but I grew up in, my home had 9.
9, okay.
9, 6 sisters, 2 brothers.
2 brothers.
Yeah.
And then you was living with your mom and your dad?
Nah, just my mom.
Just your mom?
My mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mom and my step pop.
Your step pop. Okay.
Yeah.
So how was that, when you got there to the house? Like, being in that house and how everything transformed for you, and how did you get to being addicted to what you was at that time? Like, how was
growing up was crazy, man.
Uh-huh.
I grew up West Philly, next to like Mill Creek projects.
Mm-hmm.
Then around there, like in the 80s, it was, the crack epidemic hit hard, hit every black urban or the hood, home. Everybody knew somebody, mom or dad, uncle, cousin that was on crack.
Pretty much.
My mom was on crack. So all my life, like from 6 years old, you know what I'm saying? So the crib was the trap house. You know what I mean? Everybody hung at my house. You know what I mean? So it was crazy growing up.
Growing up in that, and I could contest growing up somewhat in that or whatever. Coming from my mom, being on drugs as well, that trauma. You in the house because you don't know what's coming. You don't know when you're gonna eat.
Right.
You don't know anything. In the way of survival.
I knew I was gonna eat though. I was gonna eat one way or another.
Okay.
I got off the porch at 6, like 6, 7 years old. I ain't had no curfew. It wasn't no punishment, none of that. I was at the gas station. I was one of the kids that you see at the gas station daily. That was me, 2, 3 in the morning. I was gonna eat, and I made sure of that.
Yeah.
Because I had 6 sisters.
Yeah.
Me and my brother had to go take care of.
Yeah.
Of course, it wasn't no food in the fridge and none of that. You know what I mean? So I had to make sure I ate.
You ate.
I always ate.
Right.
I always made a way. When I figured it out, when I got off the porch, let me see. The first year I got off the porch, it was a little rough. It was, me figuring it out.
Figuring it out.
You know what I'm saying? How to make some money, stuff like that. So, but once I had it figured out, by the time I was 7, 8, 9, was
it like
good.
a routine through that 7, 8, 9? Like how to maneuver through all of that? Like
by then I already learned the game.
You learned the game.
Pump gas, carry bags, go check on Mr. George, go do some lawns, sell fruit, whatever.
Hustling.
Yeah. I was always hustling. Always. So at a young age.
At a young age. So what caused the effect, from your family members and all like that, transitioning all the way through? What caused the effect at that time? I know to get it through the addiction and those things. And
well. And since when you're young, you don't even know you're an addict. So, you start hanging with people, that ain't, their mom and dad on, pops ain't there, mom on crack. Eventually you start experimenting. Nobody wake up and say, yo, I'm going to be addicted to crack or anything. So, start hanging with people. We start smoking weed, and weed lead to drinking. And, I started smoking weed, and I started smoking cigarettes like when I was about, I want to say like 11, 12. You know what I mean? And that's why I always speak about vaping. It's very important that we get on that now, because the youngins is doing it. It's just that we don't smell it. We don't smell it because you can't smell it. It has no you really can't smell vape.
Yeah, tell me about that, because like with the vaping thing, like I see people, they got the charges with it now, and they got the, like, how many puffs you take. Like, does that cause an effect on your health when they got these charges and these plugins?
Absolutely.
And like,
Absolutely.
What are they puffing like out of? Like, what is that? You know what it like?
Yeah, a bunch of chemicals. Stuff that's made with rat poison, aerosol cans, battery acid, that's literally car batteries. Stuff that's in car batteries, you're actually inhaling.
I seen people in offices smoke them things.
Yeah, I mean, in the secondhand part, see, what people need to understand is the CDC just put it out. None of this stuff is regulated yet.
Okay.
So they are actually using the people as guinea pigs. Just like when cigarettes came out. People didn't know that cigarettes cause cancer. You remember them old school movies? Everybody there in the office, people working downtown, like real, like it was cigarette ashtrays, and in the barber shop you could smoke. They never knew that it caused cancer or secondhand smoking. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They got secondhand vaping now that they're doing studies on right now. So it's a very damaging thing, long term and short term.
You think it's going to substitute cigarettes at some point?
It already is to a certain extent, but the difference is this gonna kill you quicker. There's been reports and stuff like my little sister friend, right? Mm-hmm. Started vaping 6 months ago, and she got COPD. She on a deathbed right now from vaping.
From vaping 6 months ago?
Absolutely, 6 months ago. What? So for some people, it affects them almost immediately. For some people, it don't. But all this is just, test trials that they're doing on people, and they're collecting the data from the people. They're not letting us know that.
No, they're not.
But this is what's happening.
Nah.
This is what's happening.
Especially when you see them 24-hour smoke shops.
Absolutely, But that's a whole nother, conversation.
Yeah, right there. I see them a lot. So tell me, I was watching something where as though you was an alcoholic.
Absolutely.
And you used to do Mad Dog 2020.
Absolutely.
I ain't gonna lie. I used to drink Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah, that was some shot.
And I was young when I did it. 17, 18, friends go to the store.
Right.
We had found somebody to get it.
Easy
and just, we would sip it like it was nothing.
Yeah, OG. Matter of fact, on the bottle Cisco too, man. You know what I mean? I got you when you come out.
Yeah.
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 Had to have that.
Yeah, and it's that buzz, it's that high you get.
Yeah. And that joint is only like 13, 14% alcohol. But when you're young, that's a lot.
That's a lot. You
know what I'm saying? That's a lot. So I started drinking that like in middle school, high school, all through high school.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That was my thing, especially Cisco.
And how often was you drinking it? Like, was it like an everyday thing, or was
back
it just...
then? No. It was just like, yo, we all hanging out. We cutting school, or on the weekend,
and you just drinking it.
Yeah, just to hang.
Because I had some friends and we used to drink that in the remember the St. Isaacs and all that.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. We used to drink it, whatever. But when did you feel like you had the addiction?
That was years later. I'm talking about like 10 years later. 10 years later, like 24, 25. When I was drinking Mad Dog 2020 and all that, I'm 13, 14.
13, 14.
Yeah, I was real young. So, and I wasn't abusing it.
Okay.
I wasn't abusing it yet. Mm-hmm. So, by the time I was 24, between 24 and 25, I said, all right, I'm an alcoholic.
You were alcoholic.
Yeah, but
Did you come to the realization that you was alcoholic?
Yeah.
Or when you was that?
Yeah, 24, 25.
24, 25 years old, and then you would just drink to get that buzz, that high, and all like that.
Yeah, just whatever. The dog died. I'm gonna drink. We got mice in the house. I'm gonna drink. Such and such having a party. I'm gonna drink. In the morning, evening, dinner time.
I kind of feel like us in the community, black folk, we always find an excuse to do something like that. Not all of us, but for the most, because we come from so much stuff. the problems we do, so we kind of compress it with the alcohol.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of times, man, it's so much trauma just growing up in the hood alone. Just some statistics and studies have shown that the trauma that African Americans carry is similar than to going to war, like literally going to war. And most of the time we suffer and we don't even know why. And some of it is the reason why, because our upbringing, some things that we were taught, don't talk to nobody. That's the biggest, lie or misconception in our, community. Like, I get it. You don't go talk to no feds, the police and all that, but it's okay to go talk to a therapist. It's okay to go talk to a counselor. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to talk to somebody, but not just anybody, but someone who's certified, and some people who's certified as far as in our urban, in the hood, you're going to get some good advice. You know what I'm saying? And then you go talk to the professionals. So a lot of us carry that with us into our 20s and then our 30s. And then you wake up, you 45 years old, 40 years old, you sitting in front of a therapist.
Yeah.
And then now you realize, damn, I should have did this shit a long time ago.
So let's talk about that, therapist. I know you in school for
it. Yeah. I'm in school for behavior health, behavior health specialist.
And how long you been in school for?
I've been in school now for almost a year.
When you graduate?
About next year.
Next year?
Yeah.
I know you're excited.
God willing.
No, it's going to happen.
I always say God willing. Okay. Here's why.
All right.
One of my friends, he has his master's degree in behavior health. He's 41 years old. He just died yesterday. So you always got to say God willing.
God willing.
Because we don't know.
We don't know.
Damn,
I'm sorry to hear that. What, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm not sure yet. And he's one of the guys that helped me get clean. Get clean. He helped me get clean, and shout out to him and his family and all his friends. Shout out to Rob, man. My man Robert. Yeah.
I kind of feel like, with us, I think I was talking to my sister, right? She has a lot of friends.
Right.
And it's like, so it's this ordinary thing now with these kids now, where their friends pass away or whatever.
Right.
And it's like a normal thing for them now.
Right.
And it's like, you all right? Like you gotta ask, because it's like, it's so normal to hear people passing and whatever, and it's like, you're not affected by it.
They affected. They are. Listen, I was doing the Clippers Up, Drugs Down class at a particular elementary school.
Yeah.
So I'm in there and talking to the youth. Educating them about cutting hair, and of course we talk about substance abuse just a little bit. And the day that I left, a lot of them broke down crying because they have been exposed to some form of trauma. Whether it's their mom, boyfriend getting killed, a couple of them, their older brother got killed, and they just broke down crying. And all I can do is hold these kids, man, in my arms, man. And I'm like, wow, that was my first experience of witnessing firsthand, how much trauma a third grader's going through, a fourth grader's going through, and that kind of inspired me and played a major role in me going to college as well, so I can help the youth.
Yeah. Being in that role, right? Helping the youth and everything. Do you ever feel like you get overwhelmed with that? Like, because it's a lot.
No.
To take in. No, not at all.
No, I'm doing God's work, man.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I'm doing God's work. I'm never overwhelmed doing the work that I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I can't even explain it. This is my addiction now, and I love it.
So let me put it like this, like from an emotional status, like, when you're going out and you're talking to the kids and you're enduring their pain and what they say, does it cause you to feel their pain as well all the time?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, naturally.
Right.
You know, I get teary-eyed too.
Yeah.
You know, because I can only do but so much. But it doesn't overwhelm me to the extent like I'm burnt out or I don't want to do this no more. It's too. No, I love it.
That's great.
I love it because I have a purpose now. I remember being homeless, you know, multiple times in my life, you know, and I felt like I didn't have purpose. You know what I'm saying? I remember my wife, when I first got clean, she asked me, what do you want your legacy to be? And I'm like, well, I just want to work, you know, stay off of drugs, you know, pray and be the best human being. She said, nah. What you want your legacy to be?
Wow.
And I'm like, what you mean? She said, okay. She gave me her examples of some things that she would like to be remembered by when she's gone, you know. And then she gave some other examples, like, you know, you got Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. You got Malcolm X. You got Martin Luther King. You got all these figures, that people who have left legacies in life. She said, well, what's yours? And I didn't have an answer for it.
Wow.
I felt that was the only time in my life that besides being on drugs, of course,
exactly.
that I felt like worthless.
So you found the purpose.
Well, that's the day that gave birth to the work that I was doing. That's when I gave a name to the work that I was doing, which is called Soldiers for Recovery.
Soldiers for Recovery.
Because I was already doing the work.
You ever feel like sometimes, like, you know, I can kind of feel like when myself, right, you know, going through on your greatness, you go through like these crazy upside hill down like failures in life, right? Where nothing is clicking. Something is always happening. You're like, yo, when I'm gonna catch a break? But what I realize is that through all the stuff that we going through comes out a beautiful story. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it took me a while to think. It took me a while, you know, for me to feel that way. You know what I mean? Because it's like all these things going on. You got this, you got that going on. You know, and I feel like when I was listening to some of your stories, like you had like consistently, there was always something going on.
Yeah.
You know, but that made your story so great. You know, where you was at. One particular story I remember you talked about is that, you know, when you was going through withdrawal,
right?
And you was cutting hair, you was going through withdrawal. Somebody tell you they got something else better for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, that's another chapter in your life that was being exposed, like a test, right? Whereas though you had to figure that one out. Like, walk me through that. Like, how was that? Like, you going through withdrawal? It was, and this guy, you know, not mentioning, you know, no names.
I mean, it's all good. That experience was one of the worst experiences in my life, actually. You know, it's a guy, he used to come to the barbershop. And if people want to know, I'm a barber. That's what I do, and that's how I was able to take care of my high. You know what I'm saying? But you know, so on this in particular day, right? Because I'm gonna give y'all a little backstory, real quick. How I got addicted to perks was from alcohol. I got in a car accident. From the car accident, the doctor gave me Percocets. From the Percocets, eventually the doctor stopped giving me Percocets. But I'm a barber. So a lot of my clients had perks. A lot of the old head clients. So they would just give me perks and I'd cut their hair for the month. You know, eventually I started out taking about 5, you know, 10 of them, and then I'm reading the ingredients, and I'm like, you know, well, I don't want to kill myself, so I put the alcohol down completely, because I'm like, well, damn, I can remember everything. I'm going home now, because when I was drinking, I would never come home. Never come home because my kids was there. So before I knew it, I'm taking 20 at one time to get high. I done built up my tolerance that much. You know what I mean? Some people say, oh man, you'd have killed yourself. No,
20
you won't.
20 in one
25 12s at one time.
Oh, wow.
I built up my tolerance that much. It took time to gradually get there. But I was doing that 3 times a day.
3 times a day?
Easy.
So it started when you woke up?
First thing in the morning. That was my medicine. Breakfast. That's breakfast, man.
That's breakfast.
Easy. But then I found out that they had the 10s. Then I found out they had the 20s, the 30s, the oxys, the 80s. So eventually I made my way to the oxy 80s, right? And I was doing about 8 of those a day because I needed 2 of them just so I can function and feel normal. Like by then I was about 31, 32. And that all the fun was gone by then. It wasn't no fun. Fun been gone years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this in particular guy, for like a year or two, he used to come in the shop, like, and come get his hair cut. That was one of my co-workers' family. And he like, yo, man, I got something, man. You spending too much money. And I'm like, yo, so what you got? He said, I got heroin. I'm like, man, I ain't doing no heroin, man.
Yeah.
He said, all right. So he kept every week, every other, so after a year and a half of him, let me know, and after thousands and thousands of dollars was spent, my Pill Connect left town for that weekend. And I went down to the shop because I would work 7 days a week. And on Sundays was a half a day. I'll do 7 to 3 or whatever. Yeah. And my Pill Connect wasn't around, Oxy 80s. Mind you, I'm doing 8 of them a day, man. So I'm going through withdrawal.
Yeah.
I'm sweating, I'm shaking. He come in the shop. So I'm cutting, I keep putting my clippers down and, he looking, he said, yo, I see you going through it over there. I got something for that. He yelled that out. And I already knew what he was talking about. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm good, right? So I put my clippers down, man. The minute I said I was good, I put them clippers down. Next second, I'm outside. I said, what you got? He said, you know what I got? I said, man, I ain't doing no needles. He said, you ain't got to do no needles. I said, well, what I got to do? He said, all you got to do is snort it. So I took the bag, went in the bathroom, snorted half that bag. By 3 o'clock, I was up Kensington. Same day.
That guy that did that. Because I my whole thing is this with the story is like, why would you a barber. Right? Instead of asking what ways that he can help you, he's trying.
You know how it go, man.
Yeah, I know, but it's crazy. But it's like, dude, all that. Do you still talk to that guy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that like?
Yeah, I mean, if I seen him, I ain't got nothing against him. You know what I'm saying? He getting high too.
Oh, God.
He get high too.
So he was getting high on this supply.
Yeah, he getting high too. It's terrible, all kinds of stuff. So, but I don't feel no kind of way for what I did to myself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I made that decision. Yeah. I made that decision. I don't hold no malice to him because I know who he is. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He like, yo, he coming at an angle that I'm looking out. It's not on some, let me put a Mickey in. You know what I'm saying? It ain't on that time. You know what I mean? So no, I don't hold that.
He was just looking out, just trying to help you out.
For saving some money and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
I can look at it that way, or I can look at it the other way. But I doubt it was the other way. You know what I'm saying? So
tell me a little bit about your nonprofit and what you have, because I know that for Search for Recovery, you've been around. You've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, I've been doing this work in Philadelphia for about almost 10 years. It's been a nonprofit now, officially a nonprofit, 501c3. So if y'all want to donate, I'm a tax write-off. All my paperwork is straight. All my paperwork is straight. So you definitely, want to help me out. I need help. Pretty much, I've been operating just on my own, really. I got some partners that I work with the One Day at a Time. Shout out to One Day at a Time as well. Mel Wells, his wife Tasha, and the whole organization. They support me. But I never really got funded or grants or anything. Everything that I've been doing been out of my pocket. I mean, to the extent that, am I going to pay this bill, or am I going to go and buy some food to help the homeless or get blankets and stuff like that? So,
I think that I feel like the city, I don't get too much in depth with politics, but I do know the city got some money.
It's all politics, though. Yeah,
they got the money. They got it.
But you hear what I'm saying?
I know.
It's all politics.
Wherever they want to put the money at.
I mean, you know how it go.
I know, man. Especially looking at down
It's too much red tape, man. You got red tape. I mean, nothing isn't impossible,
Right.
but there's all kinds of red tape. It's red tape that you see and there's red tape that you don't see. You know what I mean? And it's a battle. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's why I've been doing everything out of my pocket, you know, or donations. But I never asked for donations, you know, but that's something that I'm going to start doing, you know, and I'm definitely going to, you know, continue on because I definitely need the donations.
Definitely need
now,
because
I'm like burnt out now.
And that's what I was saying to you earlier about like with everything, you know, with that, because you're doing it by yourself.
Financially,
you know
yeah. It's a financial strain, but I love doing the work.
You love doing the work.
Yeah, so like I don't mind doing the work. You know, now burnt out in that sense, money wise, yeah. But as far as with like doing the work, I've been doing this shit for 10 years straight.
That's good, man. Like
straight.
I don't know
with
nobody
no money.
With no money.
None.
Wow.
Just because of the love. I want people to get you know, I understand coming home and you live in the same house as your mom, but you don't see her. Only time you see your mom is when she probably go to the bathroom or something, you know, and you got a split second to say something. You know, I can relate to that child that's out there like that. I can relate to the child that come home and like today, a lot of them mothers and parents, I'm gonna say parents because the fathers too, they all perked up. So that child, it's no different than the mom smoking crack.
Yeah.
Or father smoking crack, because now the child got to see their parent like this. Nah, no.
And that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So I can relate to that.
The other day I was riding down, it was like Armingo. Saw this dude, he like this. He just laid out. I'm like, is he dead?
Possibly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, possibly.
But it's like, to see all of this and to see it, and you have people out here like yourself who is trying to change it, but you see other people who have the power to change it that are not.
Right.
And I never really understood that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's always been like, I've been scratching my head about that. Like, wait a minute. You know, at one point, Kensington wasn't like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Kensington wasn't like that. But then I see it and it seemed like I knew that the mayor, she tried it.
They don't listen.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sherelle Parker. Shout out to Miss Lazada. They doing the best they can. I mean, you got to look at it. This condition just didn't happen overnight. Right. Kensington been Kensington. Okay. You know, it's been hustlers out there and all that. You know, shout out to the hustlers too, because they make it hard for them guys. You know, I got love for the hustlers too. You know what I mean? They need opportunities too. You know, and maybe they wouldn't be out there. But shout out to you know, the mayor and everybody for doing what they can do in a situation that has been happening to this extent for almost, you know, 15 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now they got to undo that. And it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be fast. You know what I mean? So I think they're doing an amazing job with the challenges that they're facing. You know, it's not easy, man.
When did the Percocets come on the set? Was it the FDA? Didn't they approve
1996.
Like
1996, yes.
Yeah. And that's when it became legal, and that's when from the accidents or whatever.
They were, you know, it was sinister. Put it like that. 1996, they got the approval to give it out as a pain reliever. You know what I mean? And they gave it to everybody. You know, the doctors was involved. You know, they get bonuses when they give it to people. You know, when they recommend that, hey, no, I need some Tylenol. No, we got something called Percocets. You know,
and they was giving them out.
Each script.
You know what's crazy? 07, I had a surgery on my arm, left arm. And I remember, so when I got out, they put like this cold pack on your arm in like a cooler, and it put ice down your arm after you get surgery. So the doctor had gave me Oxycontin.
First anesthesia.
Yeah, and sleeping pills too. Yeah. Right? A lot of you know, I took the Oxycontin. I'm like this, just float.
I love it.
Yeah, you just float like, yo, these is all right.
I still love them, man.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna, you one of them bulls. No, man, no, I love the high.
Love the high.
but I don't love what it did to my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead, though.
No, I would say I was
yeah.
You know, and I remember taking them, but now I'm taking one. Now I'm taking two.
Yeah. Slow climb. Climbing that mountain.
Like, and this time my arm is feeling a lot better now.
Yeah.
But now I still got the whole bottle.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I remember a friend of mine came over. Like, what are you doing? Like, what you mean? Like, yo, you don't need these anymore. I was like, wait a minute. I had to think. I'm like, he's like, yeah, you want to get addicted?
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I'm young.
Right.
I don't know. I'm thinking because the doctor gave them to me.
It's all good.
It's all good.
I'm supposed to have it.
Yeah, but
3 times a day.
Yeah, I'm just taking them now because it's a high. But then I stopped. You know, luckily something clicked where he said something.
Did you go through withdrawal?
No, I didn't go through withdrawal.
Okay.
I didn't go through it. But that high I still remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for the love of me, thank God that I was able to understand, you know, like, okay, I don't need these. And I just left them. It might leave them alone. And I just left them alone. And I still had the whole bottle.
Right.
It was still more in there.
Yeah.
But I just threw them away, though.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because I could have been addicted.
Yeah, I did that before when my wife had my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
This when I was drinking heavy, too. And I should have knew then, man. I took them Johns, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I felt good, but I didn't like how I felt in the morning at that time. So so I took them and I got rid of them because I didn't like how it made my wife feel neither. You know, and it's crazy because years later, you know, I got hooked on them joints, man. I loved it, but they say when you put down one addiction, you pick up another, and that's what I did with alcohol. So I put the alcohol down, and I started the perks, which led me eventually on heroin.
Even let's go back to it, like back when you was in jail, right? I'm gonna ask you something. You said something about mouthwash, that makes you get. I never knew that.
Yeah,
how does that work?
Mouthwash has alcohol in it.
Yeah, but I didn't know it had that magnitude to where as though it can get you.
It really don't, but you can get a buzz off of it. And but I was like, man, that's when I
in your 20s, right?
No, I did 3.5 years.
Oh, 3, okay.
As a juvenile.
Okay.
I was booked, and I still was trying to get drunk.
Wow.
Remember, I was drinking Mad Dog.
You was bringing Mad Dog. So when you got in,
I'm like, oh shit, I read it, and it's got alcohol. I said, let me try it. I got a little buzz. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I kept me a little shot of that around. You know, drank that throughout the day, but I didn't know that I was an addict. You know what I'm saying? But it was a coping mechanism too at the same time, just the coping environment that I was in. You know, and damn,
I think it's easy to like get addicted to things. You know,
alcohol,
whether it be pill, anything. You know, people get addicted to things that are something. Somebody told me too much of anything ain't good for you. Right. So when you think about the stuff, the common things, the drugs, the alcohol, but there's other things.
Yeah, good things. Too much water, you're gonna die. You drink too much water, you're gonna die.
Yeah, you drink too much water. They said somehow you get. So you know, all these things is just like crazy. But the circumstances that how we come up and we see our parents or we see our you know, I saw I'm not gonna mention their name, but I saw a good friend of mine on cocaine. Right? He was selling drugs. Then he was
taking them.
He taking them.
That's how it go.
But he was sleep hard.
Yeah.
All day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't understand. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? But then he starts smoking it.
Right.
You know, then I'm watching him. I'm in his house and I'm watching what he's doing. And I'm seeing the whole process.
Right.
And seeing my homie go through it like that. And it's like, wow, man. I said, you want to do this to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people make that statement, do it to yourself.
Yeah.
We don't never plan on doing it like that. Like, this ain't something we wake up.
Right.
When the teacher asks us, 5th grade, what you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a cokehead. I want to be a heroin. We don't. This comes a means of functioning. This is part of our way to feel normal. You know what I mean? We don't want to do this to ourselves, but we don't know how to stop. You know, I compare substance abuse misuse disorder to jail or death. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know when the devil gonna free you. You don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You don't know. You are literally locked up in your own body to a substance that won't let you free. You know.
You mentioned something in the conversation. You said, you know, the after fact, how you felt in the morning.
Yeah.
Is it always like after you did what you did out the day in the morning, you be like, yo, I gotta. Do you ever feel like subconsciously at that time when you was going through, like, yo, I gotta change, man, I gotta figure it out?
All the time, yeah. At the same time, shit, I gotta go get another one. You know, so it plays in your mind that, you know, everyone that you see out there, even your friend, he tells himself that every day. Every day, you know, you going, man, I gotta stop. Even if it's a split second thought, all of us think about that. Then some of us think about just dying, just wanting to die like that, because sometimes you feel like you're never gonna get it, you know. And I've experienced, I never wanted to die, but I never wanted to feel either, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? But I never said I want to die. I want to kill myself or something like that. Nothing like that. But I just didn't want to be here to feel his pain, you know, or feel the emotional and spiritual war. Yeah. You know, because I can't explain it, man. It's terrible, man.
Take me to the first time when you got involved with helping people, because you've been doing it for 10 years. When you ran across somebody that needed the help, right?
Immediately,
can you remember the first person you talked to, and how was that for you when you changed their life?
First person I talked to was a rehab. The same rehab that I got out, they told me you can't come back for 30 days to speak. I got out on a Sunday, I was back that Sunday. So the first group of people that I talked to was about 30, 40 people. Wow. So there's no, like, in particular, like one person. It's always been, you know, a lot of people, you know. God has allowed me, Allah has allowed me to help so many people I don't even like be remembering. Wow. Like who's who, you know. I do remember the individuals who have passed on that I attempted to help. But outside of that, I don't even take count. Like I can't tell you. But this one in particular person, on Instagram, it goes by Message LLC or The Message LLC. He walked up on me, said, yo, man, I want to do what you doing. And I'm going to see you when I get out of here. And this was at Keystone at a rehab. And, you know, I'm like, you know, I hear that all the time. But this guy was serious. He got out of rehab, came and saw me. I started cutting his hair, and, you know, we built a great relationship. He wound up going off to college. And he's working on his doctor's degree right now.
His doctor's degree.
Yeah, and he travels the country right now. Matter of fact, the world. He just got back from Africa.
Wow.
And he does public speaking, substance abuse awareness speaking, but on a level that deals with politics. So he's in the rooms with politicians and stuff like that today. So not just in Philadelphia, but across America. Like he just spoke at I want to say Harvard. He just spoke there.
Wow.
And everything. And mind you, 7 years ago, he slept right downtown. 7 years ago, he was in Kensington eating on it. He had nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. Shout out to my man Fred. His name's Fred. And he's my mentor now. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's my mentor now.
Yeah.
You know, and he's one of the guys that inspired me to go to college too, as well. It's like, yo, you gotta go to school, man. Like talking, you could talk. Like you got that down pat. You know, but you gotta go to school. You gotta get some paper behind you, you know. And I'm like, all right, you know, so.
How's that been? How's that been? Because now this is part of your routine, right? School.
Absolutely.
And how has that been for you going to school with everything else? Like, cause you know, sometimes we out of school for so long and then we gotta.
Man, it's easy.
Yeah.
Listen, I think, man, if you think that you can't go back to school, go back to school. Listen, it's the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Mm-hmm.
The best.
Mm-hmm.
When I say the best decision I've ever made in my whole entire life. One of them.
You think because you're more wiser now and you take more of the information in because it's something you want
All
to
of
do?
that. All of it.
I think it's different when you're young, right? Because it's like, why I gotta be here? Why we gotta do this? But when you get older, it's kind of like you take it a little bit more serious because it's all on you now.
Absolutely.
You ain't got nobody telling you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely, it's the best decision. It's making me grow up more. I'm growing and learning in the field that I'm working in. You know, I'm learning how to cite now. You got to cite your source, this and that.
Cite
I'm like,
your source.
yeah, that's major. I didn't know how major that was. Far as the structure of like speaking, you know, I used to have it used to be a challenge for me. You know, I could speak all day and I could tell you my life story all day.
Right.
But going to college has brought structure now.
Gotcha.
You know, to my presentations now.
Yeah.
You know, before it was, I grew up like this and that. And it was crazy, but it was good. But
now it's different because you're in school.
Oh, man.
Are you online or are you in class?
In class, man.
Class?
Yeah, I got to be there. I got to feel it, man.
Yeah, like people be like, yo, just go online. I'm like, I don't feel like online
I got to
gives
be
you
there.
justice.
I got to be there because I'm that type of learner. And this is a big deal for me because I never got a chance to walk down the aisle in elementary school graduation due to my mom. Well, I can't really say my mom. Me misbehaving. Plus, you know, my mom didn't have the money.
Right.
And my father wasn't ever there. Middle school, I went from 7th grade straight to 9th, so I didn't even walk down the aisle for that. In high school, you know, I dropped out, you know, and then when it was time for me to graduate, 9/11 happened. And the coordinator for the graduation, you know, he was biased because, you know, I come through garbed up and everything, you know, so they kicked me out. So
for that?
Yeah.
Is that discrimination?
Yeah, it would have been, but I was young and I didn't care.
Was this uni or?
Uni.
Okay.
Yeah, uni. I didn't care. I'm like, yo, man, just give me my diploma, man. That's it.
So
I didn't care.
Okay.
So this means a lot. A lot to me.
Because you went to night school.
Yeah, I went to night school.
Okay.
Yeah. I went to night school.
And then so he didn't allow you to walk because you were garbed up.
Not saying that I was garbed up. People was like, you know, horse playing and all that.
Right. And
I'm like, it was right behind me. And he like, yo, that was I'm like, yo, you know, me and him had a couple words and I was young, so I was real ignorant. I was gonna get with him. So yeah, I mean, he almost got punched on, you know, because I ain't had patience.
You know, I think some people that have the authority, I think certain people shouldn't have it. Right? We live in a society now because you're good at what you do. They just put you there.
Right.
I don't agree to that. You know, because some people don't know how to deal with people.
Right.
Right. Just because you're good at what you do at your job, you still got to deal with people. And I think sometimes they'll just look at, okay, you've been here, you've been consistent. Let's just put you here, and then you can, you know. I agree. And then it's like we all coming from something. You got to kind of to be the best leader is to understand and associate with all different types of people. And I think we miscalculate on that in society. And I feel like me personally, you know who I found out who the best teachers are, which is crazy. And it's not saying any other ones that aren't good, but the people that come home from jail. That are still looking away, they give out the best wisdom. Whether it be federal, whatever. It was this guy, I always speak upon him on my podcast. His name was Mr. Earn. Mr. Earn used to always work out. He always gave me the best advice. He did 14 in the feds. But his knowledge of just like wisdom he always gave me is stuck along the way. Right. You know, and we live in a society now because of where you come from and how things are, or you just can't fit here because of your background. And I feel like it's got to change. You know what I'm saying? Because the best teachers are the ones that go through something. Right. You know?
They don't care about that, though.
They don't.
Unfortunately. I mean, that's just the way this...
it's politics, right?
I mean, it's about who you know, too. And a lot of times, you got to conduct yourself in a certain way to get in certain places and spaces. Some people can adapt to different environments to get themselves into a great position. But you got to be willing to change. You got to be willing to grow. And most people lose opportunities because they're not willing to grow. They're not willing to change. Like me, I can go in front of anybody and talk in front of anybody. It don't matter what nationality, you know, then I can go down to the projects and get with them and talk to them and understand everything. So, you know, it's just about being a chameleon to whatever it is that you want to achieve, or just being a chameleon to just learning. You know what I mean? And me, I'm gonna always be a student. I don't know anything. I'm going to learn. You know, I'm a student. I'm gonna always be a student to the day that I die with any and everything that I do.
But that's how it always should be.
Yeah.
Everybody gotta be a student. You gotta listen, right? Because you'll get a better perspective when you listen.
Right.
You know, and understand it and doing the work. But I think some people don't want to do that. You know, you sitting there, it's like the person that works at a job, right?
Right.
They have to listen to somebody that don't want to listen. I find that to be crazy. You know, you come to work every day, you're listening to somebody that doesn't want to listen to you.
Yeah, that's why I'm a barber. I don't.
You know, because my friends, they go through this, man.
I know. Listen, I used to work. The crazy thing, I used to work, you know, post office.
Yeah.
You know, oh my God, you got so many people want to be balls in there. I never liked how that feel, man.
It's crazy, ain't it?
It's crazy.
And that's not saying nothing wrong with a 9 to 5.
Somebody, look, this dude been there the same time as you. He's shooting for another position, so now he want to tell you what to do. Dog, you ain't even got the job yet. What type of job you on? I'm gonna go get a drink, man. I'm gonna go get a drink. You know what I mean? I never liked it. I never liked it.
Me either, man. Me either. I never really understood it. I
understand it. That's why I got away from it.
Yeah, you got it.
Look, the only time I got a boss is when they in my chair.
When they in your chair.
That's it.
So how long you been cutting hair for?
24 years, 25 years.
I kind of feel like barbers, y'all are the therapists than ever. And then also, I think it's for you guys, I see how, even where I get my hair cut at, right? All y'all are like really are focused on the hair and what y'all doing. Ain't got nobody bothering you. That's like the best thing in the world to see that through a barber. It's like y'all really into y'all craft and what y'all doing to make sure it looks right. And I feel like that's dope, you know, whereas though, you know, you do a 9 to 5, you can't be in your zone because you got somebody telling you, wait, you know, stop, or wait a minute, you was at the bathroom. You like, bruh,
2 minutes late.
Like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Only person you got to worry about is your client. Like, hey, listen, I'm running a little late. I'll be there as soon as I get there, you know. But to have your barber license, that's dope, man.
I wound up getting that when I got clean, too. Like, I've been had my hours, but I never took the test.
So you have to take a test to be licensed, right?
Yes.
So is it through the state? Or
yes.
Okay. Yes. All right. How many questions is it? Like
it's about 100 and something, 150 questions.
So you got to get like what, like by like 100?
You got to get like, I think like 110.
110?
Yeah, you got to get a lot of them right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, barbering is serious business, man. I don't know how I did it, man. A lot of those years, I was high, man. I mean, high. You nodding off with the clippers behind your head.
Did anybody say anything to you about it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I accidentally cut one of my clients bald. He was growing, one of them froze. Cut him bald, man. Not paying attention.
Is he still your client?
No.
No.
No. He came back.
Okay.
Because I was always a good, you know, I was always me. Like I was a kind of addict, kind of guy, still the same way. Like literally, your mom coming.
Yeah.
Yo, hold this 500. My mom gonna come pick it up at such and such time.
Got you.
Yo, I wasn't that. I wasn't no slime ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wasn't, you know, into like taking a ride. That's just ain't never was me. You know, I was always who I am, trustworthy, respectful. But once you give me that 500, I am gonna ask you for $20.
Put 520 on that, bro. You asked me to hold this whole 5.
I'm gonna ask to borrow. No, I got you.
Yeah,
I got mine.
Yeah.
My money gonna be straight.
But yeah,
but I need about $5.10. $10. I got to go get my thing.
I got you.
Yeah. And I'm gonna cut your head next.
Yeah.
Put it on the next cut. So I was that kind of guy. Like,
okay, that's
a lot of people trusted me.
Yeah.
I always was a talker. Always gave game and advice even before I even knew who I was going to become. It's like God already had his hand on me. And like today, I appreciate everything that I went through. I appreciate my upbringing. I appreciate me being homeless a couple times on drugs and losing everything. And, I appreciate everything because I wouldn't be able to help and relate to anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That has walked in my shoes, because one thing I know for sure, two things for certain. First thing the addict going to ask, what you know about this life? Had you ever did any drugs? And the minute you say no, you lost them.
You lost them.
You lost them, man. We ain't trying to hear that. Ain't trying to hear it. Because you don't know. You haven't been there. You know what I'm saying? You haven't been there.
Yeah.
So I understand it, man.
What you want to tell the people out there before we get out of here?
Stay away from that first one. The first one these days will cost you your life. And what I mean by that, and why am I saying this? 2 reasons. Today, it's not like back in the day where the drugs that were out there, okay, you might smoke some weed for the first time, and it's weed. Today, you pick up that weed, it might be laced with fentanyl. You smoke it, you're dead. That drink, today, it's not like back in the day. Because, yes, they putting fentanyl in some drinks. You been done pick that up, drink it, you're dead. The vapes, you pick that up, they putting fentanyl. They found a way to put fentanyl in the vapes. Take that. It's going to take your life. And if it don't take your life and you do live, oh, man, you're going to live a life of hell for a long time before you get out of there, before the devil lets you go. So by any means necessary, don't use. And that's all I have to say. But if you want to support Soldiers for Recovery mission, you can donate. You can go to my website, soldiersforrecovery.org. You can hit my email, which is attached to my what's
Instagram?
that? Instagram.
Tell me Instagram so they know.
My Instagram is soldiers_for_recovery. And that's soldiers with an S.
I appreciate you, bro. This has definitely been one of the special ones.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. You know what I mean? Because it means a lot. Coming from seeing people that I know that's been addicted and seeing things at a young age, I've always wanted to tap in with somebody that was also experienced with too, because I never talked about it with nobody. Me and my brothers and my sisters witnessed it. You know what I'm saying?
I never knew that about
Yeah. Because I was a kid that saw my mom. You feel me?
Shit hurts,
she good now, but
thank God.
Yeah, but being young and watching it, and you can't do nothing, and for a long time that pain was like I could have done something. It was like, what you could have done, Terrance? It's nothing you could have done. Nope. That was your mom's life at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. To witness that and being ashamed to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to get. No, it's okay.
It's okay to talk. That's okay another thing. It's okay to talk.
Yeah.
Just talk to the right people.
You go.
And what I mean by the right people, I'm talking about a professional, a therapist, a counselor. Go to your parents. If your parents not around, there's somebody in your family or within your community that you can go to, young man or young woman, and say, listen, I need help. I need some therapy. I need some counseling. Can you help me? I strongly encourage it. The therapy changed my life. I wouldn't be here today without counseling. And this is after I put the drugs down, right? I learned that while I was in rehab, I went to counseling, went to therapy, right? Because the drugs was always put down. And once I got to talking, I realized I don't even want to use no more.
Because you felt
this all I had to do was talk about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
because we around so much.
yeah,
We're around so much that we feel like it's all right, and it's not.
It's not.
You know.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you, good brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, man. We out.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.